Let's try Possessor next. What you want to do in the beginning is stay as far left as you can to give yourself time to see what's coming and blast anything you see that moves. Shoot these green heads that get propelled to the ceiling before they hit you, or they'll split into two projectiles that could end up getting in your way. So if you can, try to shoot down the green thing that spits them out. When you get to the statue, head up and around it as soon as you possibly can, or you get stuck underneath. The mini-boss of this section is a collage of enemies you've seen throughout the level, but the one you have to kill is the green head in the middle. Weave your way up and down and just blast everything in sight. The second section is overhead. Similar to your strategy in the previous section, you'll want to stay as far back as you can to give yourself a clear vision of what's coming. Just shoot rapidly and make sure that you don't hit any of these concrete walls, which is easier said than done, because there are some really narrow gaps you might find yourself squeezing between. These eyes attacks don't leave you much room to work with, so try to shoot them down as soon as you can to give yourself some space. Hopefully you've gotten some upgrades at this point to make it much easier. Don't be fooled by these railings, they actually don't kill you. So just shoot down the guns that are facing you and sneak past the ones that don't pose a threat. You might think that since you just sailed clear across these railings that this right here is just pavement down below, but no, it's a wall. So slip into this gap and it won't be long before you get to the next section, which is pretty uneventful until you get to the boss, the Possessor. You'll stand here in one spot and fire off a series of these, well, I guess they're souls since this guy is the Possessor. Stay up top since there are less attacks at this level, and make your way down when there's a gap. Fire, and then quickly bring yourself back up. Sometimes he'll send this gold thing after you. Don't bother trying to shoot it down unless you have a kick-ass weapon, so just go back up and continue the process until you kill him and grab the third piece of the device. The Emperor is next. Section 1 is actually pretty short, but my god, it's got guns out the ass, and they come from all sides. Come to this stage if you got an upgraded gun from the stage before, because you're going to need it to blast your way through this mess. Trying to avoid everything is extremely difficult. This mini-boss fires off several missiles in random diagonal directions. Stay as far down as you can so you can see the gaps between the missiles much easier to slip through and attack. Or if you've still got a good gun at this point, just blast through all this shit. Section 2 just blatantly tries to fuck you over by making these death walls blend right in with the background. They not only did it intentionally, but they wanted you to know that they did it intentionally, just to bust your balls a little harder. At the beginning, take the higher route. It's easier than battling these green things down here at this angle. The enemies through a lot of this section are actually not that hard, but their presence will distract you enough to bump into something and die. So keep your eyes peeled for the pink areas, shoot the guns down, and be careful where you go. The mini-boss is a bunch of these robots, but your target is the hunchback on the platform here. Stand back and shoot him from a distance so you can at least have some reaction time from dodging the crazy swirling patterns of the flying robots as well as the main one's bullets. After you finish him off, it's on to section 3 where nothing really happens and you'll meet the Emperor right away. This battle is similar to the one with the Possessor, a lineup of guns that fire off at you. Stand back, dodge the bullets, and sneak in front where there's a gap and take each gun out one by one. Once you take out every gun, you don't even fight the Emperor. I guess he's helpless without all that firepower. So now he's all done and you've got the fourth piece of the device. Next up is Mephesto. I guess this is short for Mephistopheles. It's a haunted house level with ghosts and goblins and all sorts of supernatural shit that fly around in crazy choreographed patterns. If you don't have a good weapon to shoot them with, get as far away as you possibly can from this loop that they form before they attack and they'll probably miss you. Keep your eye on the doors, as ghosts will pour out of them endlessly, which makes this little route here much easier than having to deal with the plethora of ghosts that could show up right in front of you, giving you little to no time to react. Not long after this is the mini-boss, a ghost that summons all the shit at you from the top and bottom of the screen. Just line up with the ghost who switches spots periodically and shoot through all the bullshit until you get enough hits on him to kill him. Section 2 is overhead. When you get to this area where the hands are passing green balls back and forth to each other, just stay as low as you can and you'll just pass right by them. Then you'll run into another example of cheap, indistinguishable obstacles. Look, you pass right over this pink shit right here, so what the hell is going to make you think that this pink shit with slightly different texture is going to kill you? So because of this, you have to pick a side to go through. Either way, you've got the hands to deal with again. Stay low again, but this time get in between them after they throw the first ball so you don't get hit with the second attempt. And try to stay away from the middle as a cannon will be waiting for you. Then right before the end of the section there's a shitload of eyeballs that dart towards you. Shoot like your life depends on it, and in the case of the game, it does. Third section has a bunch of these little machines, I guess, that fire 3 shots each that spread out. So you do not want a lot of them getting their shots off. Kill them as soon as you spot them, or they'll gang rape you. Mephistopheles is this head in the wall that spits out more of these same assholes. So yeah, there wasn't much creativity in the boss battles if you haven't noticed this by now. The head doesn't move, so you really just have to worry about shooting down the machines and then firing at the head whenever you can get them all off the screen at once. In which case, firing at the mouth becomes a good strategy because you'll hit all the machines that come out while doing damage to Mephesto. So now he's dead, and you'll have the 5th piece. The only one left is in the final level, the Magic Domain, which really doesn't sound too menacing. Sounds more like a theme park, actually. So you surf into the Magic Domain, and now it's on to the last level, thank God. Section 1 has more flying shit around in crazy directions. All I can say to help you with this crap is, again, stay as far back as you can so you can see what's coming easier, and grab every power-up you possibly can. You're gonna need them. All these top hats will come flying out from the bottom of the screen. If your weapon isn't good enough to handle them, stay up top and watch them as they stop momentarily, giving you at least a glimpse of where the gap is going to be. The mini-boss is this green skull that stands in one spot while other skulls come out from underneath. Line yourself up with the skull and shoot while keeping your focus on the white skulls. Only move side to side when dodging. If you start moving around vertically, you'll put yourself in danger of smacking the ceiling. Section 2 has these weird angled spike walls you have to carefully wedge yourself in between while shooting at all the crap that throws itself in your face. Now look at this, you can travel over this floor of distorted mouths, but this green collage of eyes is a deadly wall. What the fuck? It's just another booby trap to piss you off. Right after sneaking by this very tight gap, head left or you'll get stuck. Carefully maneuver your way through these walls, and when you get to the end, be ready because the mini-boss will show up once the last bubble blows up. It flies around in crazy fucking patterns and then turns into a giant insect and summons all these bubbles from different directions. So you'll want to stay low, unless it's getting close to you. But stay away from the sides so none of the bubbles blindside you. Keep firing whenever you see an opening until you take it out. In the third section you'll come to a fork with stones falling from these openings at the bottom and a narrow area up top. Take the top route and grab the power-ups. Then you'll come to these demon elephant skulls that drop some form of deadly liquid into a pool below. Wait for the drop to hit and for the splashback to happen before you go, otherwise you might get hit with the rebound. Soon after this is the final boss, this purple fuck with a handgun and silver boots that walks around the screen firing in all directions. The best place to be is low, as he'll hardly ever shoot underneath his straight attacks, but you have to go up top to get over him while he walks to the left of the screen. Unfortunately you can't turn around, you can only change the direction of your gun if you have that upgrade. Otherwise, just wait for him to get back in front of you and do your damage then. Eventually, he'll pick up speed and fire off a lot faster, but as long as you stay low and keep your focus on his bullets and not so much on where he is, you should be able to take him down. After this, you get the 6th and final piece for the device, and Galactus claims the device to be his. But Silver Surfer says, no, it's too dangerous, I'll take it somewhere safe. And then that's it. Boy, that was a hell of a finish. Thought we were going to do battle with Galactus for a second. Oh well, I can't say as I'm disappointed that the game is over. It's an overly frustrating ball buster that I think had the intention of being the most difficult game of all time. It's not quite as hard as Dragon's Lair and not even close to being as bad overall, but it's still definitely up there in terms of the frustration level. And the foundation of this game is actually pretty good. This could have been a good game if they had just made the walls unpassable rather than have them kill you, add a life bar, throw in some creativity to the enemies, and you'd have a pretty decent game. Unfortunately, Silver Surfer doesn't make it into the level of decency thanks to the amount of overkill and its flaws. But if you're looking for a real hardcore challenge, then this game is for you. So that wraps up this edition of Aqualung's Game Reviews. See you next time.